What events will you be competing at your nationals?
For our nationals this year, it'll be the first time that Wartburg is competing in all 6 disciplines for the whole nationals. So we will be competing in trap, skeet, and sporting clays, as well as doubles trap, double skeet, and super sporting.
And what are your goals for each of those events?
So for trap and skeet, for sure, those are the 2 most common events that we will shoot, sporting clays as well. With trap and skeet, we're looking for a 490. If we can keep it in the 490s, that's a 98 amongst the 5 athletes in a squad. That makes up, so 5 athletes shooting 100 targets, get a 490 out of it, 98 on average apiece. So if we can average that between the 2 events, it would be great. And then sporting clays, we're going to be looking in the 430s out of the 500. So sporting clays is definitely the separator event of all of the events there. That's the one that is more difficult, not as common. Not as many people have experience in that event, therefore it is the separator event. So if we can get into the 430s out of the 500, I think that would be awesome.
What kind of growth have you seen from your team this year?
I have seen tremendous growth from this team. From the day that I interviewed here and the questions that they asked about to then starting up the semester and seeing how we were looking out on the range and on the dry fire system to what we're at now, I've seen tremendous growth. The team working together, really implementing the coaching that we've put forth and helping each other out as much as possible through sporting clays specifically, as well as being there for each other, supporting each other, whether the round is going good or bad, depending on what they're competing in that day. The growth has been awesome, I've seen.
Sport is still relatively new at Wartburg. Can you talk about what your goals are for the coming years?
Yeah, so one of the goals that we have is to become a team of 30 athletes. So down the road, try to bump the numbers up. We had 20 this year, so looking to get another 10 throughout the next couple years. We'll continue to compete in the main 6 events, the whole HOA at nationals. Something that the team has competed in previously was just trap, skeet, and sporting clays. So now they're going to be competing in all 6. So I'm going to continue to implement doubles trap, double skeet, and super sporting more and more, so that way we can improve our knowledge of those disciplines. That way when we go to nationals and compete in that, we will be more experienced with it and can compete at the higher levels.
I asked this to the other spring sport coaches, but how has the weather maybe helped your preparation this spring semester?
Oh, weather's been awesome. Yeah, minimal wind for sure that we've had, luckily, knock on wood. So yeah, we've been able to be outside practicing as much as we can. I know a bunch of athletes have been going out on the weekends to practice on their own. That's really been beneficial. So we're not inside doing dry mounts, doing dry fire practice. We're actually able to be outside shooting real targets and getting the good experience with that. Had some overcast, of course, been the last couple weeks, but pretty much grown used to it. And looking at the weather for San Antonio, where we're going this coming weekend, that's about what the weather's looking like for the first couple days. It'll be overcast and rainy in the 60s. So we are training in the right weather for the weather we'll be competing in.
Has the schedule been released yet for the national championships? Or do you know what the week might look like?
Yep. So I actually get to register our athletes for certain disciplines on certain days. So registration opened January 8th, and so I jumped in on that as soon as I could to get squatted for the right times for right events. So we'll drive down. We're going to leave Saturday and head down. It's a 16-hour drive to San Antonio, Texas. So get some of those hours out of the way as soon as possible. And then we'll arrive Sunday and we'll practice Monday, get registered, do some practice rounds, get some experience with what the backgrounds are looking like, what the fields are looking like. And then Tuesday we'll start with singles trap at 10 o'clock and then we'll shoot doubles trap at noon. So sort of back to backing those 2 similar events. And then Wednesday we'll go down there. It'll be about the same time. So 9:30 we'll shoot skeet and then 12:30 we'll shoot double skeet. So we'll have about an hour break in between each of those disciplines to get some lunch, get a snack, get rehydrated, get refocused, go back out and keep shooting. And then Thursday we'll shoot super sporting, and that'll just be 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so should have good lighting, minimal wind that time of the day. And then Friday we'll finish it off with sporting clays at same time, about 1 o'clock.
Looking back over the previous year here, what have your highlights been?
It's been a lot. For my first year as a head coach, it's all been highlights really. The first competition that we had going out had 2 athletes go out and break 100 straight and trap. That was absolutely awesome to see. With the minimal amount of coaching that they had that I had given them, it was awesome to see them turn that into a perfect score, go into shoot off, take first and second place out of the event. Did have a couple other athletes break 100 straights throughout the season, specifically in skeet, which was really great to see. It's not something that happens near as often. So to see them then go into a shoot off as well and place in that was really good to see. Had a couple athletes place in sporting plays as well at some of the events that we were at. So just watching the growth of the athletes go from the scores they were shooting at the beginning to then putting up these higher scores by the end of the year was awesome. Those are definitely some great highlights. I think the culture on the team has definitely developed into what I was wanting it to be. Being a smaller team, we're able to travel to events in a 12-passenger van and a minivan, so the athletes are very mingled together when we travel, and staying in hotels and whatnot, just being together all the time has developed that culture into something great.
What are you the most excited about for next week?
I'm excited to put our athletes up against some of the nation's best. I think that's going to be an absolutely awesome test. Being in the Midwest, we compete against a lot of very good shooters from different schools, different competitors. So now we get to compete against people from the South, people from Texas, people from all over the place, East Coast, West Coast. I'm really excited to see how we're going to rank individually and as a team against all these other teams.
Good luck next week.
Thank you.